let's go. Jimmy Toscano, John
All right.
Zannis, Sunday. What
Sunday,
didn't we
Sunday,
watch
Sunday.
today? Hockey, college basketball, this game, if we're
Yeah,
calling it that.
lot going on.
Lot going on today, and a
Bruins,
packed
shout
weekend with sports.
out Bruins.
Yep,
Record 57 wins for a storied franchise.
yep.
Pretty good for them. But this is a Celtics show, so we'll keep it Celtics. If people do get into this show, do you see any numbers, John? Do you see anybody on the show watching?
I don't. I don't know if it's a
Am I
glitch.
am I frozen?
No, you're good. I don't know. We could have a glitch on the. No, there's people in here.
Glitch in
It's
the
it's
matrix right
reporting
here?
numbers on Restream. It's not an issue with the our tech is having a tough time registering people, but they're here. It's not one of those
Okay.
not public
All right.
rooms.
I believe you. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So we're here.
I believe
Yeah,
you.
Tim, you better make sure, buddy. I'm just
Cool.
kidding. No, I checked it too. We're live. We're live. I see it by the comments. A
All
lot of
right.
streaming comments in here.
We'll do it
We'll
live.
do it live.
Celtics win.
Celtics win in what was
137 here.
clearly, and again, I predicted, not predicted.
You
We've
predicted
talked
it.
about this, right? Hold on, we'll get into it in a minute. There's not a ton to talk about in this game, obviously, because this was like
Don't get everyone all riled up.
this was wiffle ball. This was ridiculous. But obviously, we're going to get into Jaylen Brown. We're also going to get into kind of what might be going on behind the scenes with the Jaylen Brown situation right now, and it's something we've hinted at on the show. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. We will
hint.
tell you first off, sign up FanDuel, and this is where I'm tying it into. Before the game, I put out a tweet, and I said, when Tatum went out, oh my goodness
did you say?
gracious, the
Jaylen
over
Brown
under on
overs?
Brown was 29.5, and I was like, this is easy.
Hammer
I don't
it.
care. I don't care where they said it. This is easy freaking money right here. 29.5, and that's what it jumped to. And anyone who followed my advice, and at least one or two people said thank you, I jumped on this. You were very
Wow.
happy. You probably could have cashed your bets when he had 26 at the half. But obviously,
Tailing Zannis, huh? I'm gonna have to, I guess.
this one was so easy because you knew this was going to be a 30-shot game, and it was a 30-shot game. You could have done just a Jaylen parlay tonight and probably hit every single
You
one
would
of
have
them.
made a good
sign
41 points, 13
Sign up at
rebounds. Yeah.
FanDuel.com/Boston. Place your bets. $5 bet gets you 200 in bonus bucks when you sign up. Jump in on this deal. It's not going to be around forever. You definitely should get involved if you are interested in cashing on this deal while you can. But that was part of the story here. We talked about it a little, Jimmy, right? Jason Tatum out with a left hip contusion. So this is a,
Bruce.
load management game against a weak opponent, and absolutely the type of game Tatum should sit out. He should have probably.
Yeah, it's tough when it's home, but yeah, I mean.
He should, did anybody upset they didn't watch Jason Tatum shoot a bunch of pull-ups today? Like, were you not entertained by?
Sure, there are a couple kids in the crowd.
140 friggin' points. You did okay. But you have Jaylen who jumps in there. This was an insanely efficient game. If not for jacking a ton of threes, this was like all-star game layup drill. He got anything he wanted, and single-handedly just kind of put him on two different runs to put this game away when they were, just letting San Antonio hang around here. But this was like, we joked about it, like sit Tatum a few games, let Jaylen get a few 40 pieces, make all NBA. You make all NBA,
Yeah.
Everything goes away. So the Celtics right now, you could absolutely benefit from a series of 40 pieces from Jaylen down the stretch.
Totally. It was so funny that it actually happened because we were joking about just if you want to resign, if you want Jaylen Brown to come back to Boston, he just needs to make all NBA. Then they get the extra money that they can give him, and everyone's happy. So you knew that when Tatum missed today's game, that Brown was going to get his, and they even kept him in to make sure he got over 40 points. They made sure he got hit that 41 number, and before they took him out. Great game by him. Aggressive from the start, as we've seen so many times throughout his career. I think he had 15 points, right off the bat. And It was a funny game because it felt like the Spurs were kind of going tit for tat with the Celtics in that first quarter. But man, they just went Spurs. They just went completely cold in that second half. I mean, I don't know. It's got to be tough being a Spurs fan right now. I
I,
mean, going from the high being a Patriots fan, I think. I mean, the two teams that kind of had similar
People are freaking out about my
dynasties, if you
glasses.
will.
These are like 1.0 reading glasses. It's like the smallest prescription you can possibly get, just so I can see you
What
knuckleheads
do
in
they
the chat a
say?
little bit better. They're mad. They're calling me Junior Soprano, which I like. That's pretty
I think
funny.
they look all right. I'll be honest. I usually take my glasses off because I don't want to hear it. Uh,
It's fine. I just, I can see the chat a little bit better. But that's fine.
you
We'll
don't want to
let you
see
guys have your day.
half the chats that are coming in, anyways. But no,
That's
great
funny.
Jalen game. It's so interesting right now because of all the stuff that all the quote unquote drama, whether or not you think the media is manufacturing it or Jalen Brown's creating it, all that's going on while he is still playing like unbelievable best basketball of his career. So it's not
Yeah,
even a distraction to him, which is it's interesting that both things are kind of happening simultaneously. Like typically when there's drama surrounding a player, it's happening at a point where maybe he's not performing a certain way on the court, right? Like Kyrie Irving or something. But with this, it's completely different because everyone loves what they're seeing from Jalen Brown right now on the basketball court. They cannot get enough of this guy's um, style of play, the way he's just like aggressive out there. He's been their most aggressive player all year. Um, and he is putting a bet on himself right now and wanting to, whatever it takes to be motivated. For him, it seems to be proving people wrong, right? And he's dead set on proving people wrong who don't think that he can be a number one. And
yeah,
tonight, he sure looked like a number one.
he did. He did. And I mean, whether it's proving people wrong, I don't think that
Um,
you never know really what's at the crux of some of the stuff that Jalen talked about and like where the priority is. Like you can say like you know there's six different things on your mind, but like
mm,
five of them are like all things being equal, I'd like this. You don't really know which one is the one, right? Like a lot of people just
sure.
everyone guesses everything. Like, oh, he'll be back because you can win here. You don't know that. Or, oh, he'll leave because he wants to be the alpha. You don't know that either. Like nobody knows where in the pecking order all of these things lie, and ultimately what it comes down to. The issue with the Jalen is indecision is uncertainty more than anything. But trying to guess that it's gonna definitely be this, definitely be this, definitely be this is stupid. But one thing that almost
Yeah, there's no
everybody can
definites.
agree on, he gets all NBA. There's no way he can leave. I mean, because it's just too big. So right now, if the Celtics know this and you talk about being supported, right? If the Celtics from up on high said, let's get let's juice Jalen down the stretch here. Let's get this going. We can get him all NBA and
Mm-hmm.
sign him. Everybody can chill out. And like Joe, in these games, nothing means nothing. Go, give it to him. Flip the on switch. That's support. That's
Yep.
internal support within the organization that's willing to, get a guy. I don't know if it's happening, but it'd be great if it was, right? That, yeah, go out there and friggin' score a zillion points and make a crap ton of money that I'm going to pay you. I'm cutting this check, but it's 100% worth it. That's definitely support from ownership. Is there a world? I saw somebody say this, Jimmy. You tell me whether you think it's possible.
Right.
Do you think the Celtics should be campaigning harder for Brown All NBA right now? You see big All Star pushes. Should they be campaigning in some way for All NBA? Should there be some stuff out there right now? Is that the kind of stuff that would make people, kind of, you know, make him feel like, oh yeah, they got my
Sure.
back.
Be a
That's
little bit
support.
more up on
Like,
him.
there's one thing to like he makes all NBA and Wick's like, oh god, I have to pay it. Like I guess I'd
Yeah.
really rather give him a max that's not a super max. And then there's put your money where your mouth is and be like, go, go, go. So I wonder if
Well,
that's a thing. I don't really know. Do you think they should be?
I mean, I think it would be smart for them to. I mean, I'm sure they have a whole department dedicated towards marketing. Obviously, that's marketing your players right there. So you get the stats coming in. I mean, we're getting stats. Media's getting stats fed to them all the time about a record broken here, a record broken there, every time Tatum and Brown do this or Tatum and Brown do that. They could easily put together some flyers and put a little push together to. They should. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't. I would probably rather not have to spend a lot of money to keep. I would imagine want to keep him as opposed to not, because what I'm thinking is if they don't have that money advantage, then Jaylen Brown doesn't stick around. So in that sense, he should want him to get the all
That's the
so
thing.
that Jaylen Brown sticks around.
If it's two options, Jimmy, if it's maybe all things being equal, Wick would like. I'd love to not pay him Supermax money and have him stay, but if the options are Supermax or leave,
right?
You want to believe that
the option
the
could
Celtics
also be
are
Supermax
firmly in the Supermax category, right? You want to believe ownership at that point, if they think there's a risk he leaves, wants it bad. And so you want to see them maybe support, maybe see a bigger push in some way. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that they should. I mean, he's one of their superstar players. He's been pretty clear about wanting to feel needed, right? And all that stuff and wanted. And I think that would be a good way to one way of additionally showing that. Obviously Wick's going to want to keep Jaylen Brown as the asset, right? I mean, player aside, you don't want to just lose one of your best players. So yeah, you can say, oh, now he has to pay him more, but he still has the option of someday trading him. And as you know, that's a big hot button topic, is the player not being able to control his destiny at that point. But Wick might, I'm going to have to pay him every level. But if we want to see this thing through for a few more years with Tatum and Brown and see if we can win a championship, we have to sign with a Supermax deal, and we have to do everything we can to see if he can get it. So yeah, I mean, that would be an easy thing to do. I mean, there's got to be departments dedicated to putting those graphics together, making them look pretty, and blasting them out all over social media. Media members or NBA fans, Celtics fans retweet it, and that's how information starts to spread. Don't forget, the people voting on these awards, they're reporters, they're just news people, they're on Twitter all the time. They don't know all the stats, they don't know all the accolades and things that are going on every single team. They can't. They can only know so much. So sometimes you need to be given some of that information to help you make a better judgment in your voting. So it certainly can't hurt. So
no doubt about it.
they can do that.
I'm trying to. Malcolm Brogdon asked about it. And again, I'm getting this from both Tim Shields, our producer, and Amit on site there at the press conference. Malcolm Brogdon, Jaylen Brown is the best shooting guard in the NBA. He will make all NBA. So it's not just us talking about it. It's on people's minds. It's a real thing. And for the players to recognize it and talk about it means they kind of know what's up too. Let's lock this down. Let's make this a thing. Let's make this Tatum Brown thing a thing. 2 Supermax guys, pony up, Wick, pay the tax, suck it up, sell more tequila, let's get it going, and everybody can rest easy. Because again, you lock up these 2 guys on Supermax deals, you don't have to stress about like anything at that point. Like obviously you're going to still try to, field a good roster around them, but I mean, you can't have the Brown thing hanging over your head heading into his contract year. This eliminates so much frigging stress if it happens.
Agree completely. Yeah. Does my internet suck right now, John?
Yeah, it's sucky. You want to reboot, and I'll try to filibuster for a little bit.
I'm just gonna shut my internet off, and maybe I'll jump back in 1 minute. Give me a second.
Yeah.
You good with that?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Let's just see if I.
Okay. It's just me and you guys. You got any good questions for me? Like, what makes you the way you are, or why do you have to be such a jerk about Jaylen all the time? We're literally trying to keep Jaylen Brown here, everybody. We're trying to keep him here. Someone wants to pay Grant. I'm not sure about that, but that's fine. No, you're fine, Rose. L. Rose. You're fine. You're fine. Jimmy's going to boot up. Just giving you a couple of heads up. Sherrod is not on tonight. Bobby Manning is on tonight. And he'll be jumping on from the Garden. Josue Pavon also. One of the things, again, that was interesting that was mentioned by Malcolm Brogdon in those comments that it's worth talking about. It kind of stinks that Brown has to go in as a guard because there's more competition there. And he plays most of his years forward. And again, part of that has to do with maybe the whole like double big and he'd kind of slotted in as a shooting guard. I still find it silly. Like, does anybody out there view Jaylen Brown as a guard. I don't really get why that has to be the case. Right now, statistically speaking, and factoring in that you're doing it for a good team, which I know matters in the voting, I just find it odd that like you're not going to get two Celtics in there. I think you're going to have to. Two things can happen. Brown can go down the stretch with a bunch of 40 pieces here. And again, I might have to put on my glasses to see some of your things. And I'll answer that about Rob as well if Rob is back. We'll get to that one too. Brown can just stack up a few big games. It would not hurt him at all if Tatum sat a couple and Brown was in there. And like, let's not be, they are thinking about it. What is he doing in the game still that late? Why was he in there? He's in there to get 40. They knew what they were doing. Brown could have come out 8 minutes earlier, and he's still in that blowout with 7 minutes to go. And he's the last starter to finally sit down. They absolutely knew what they were doing, keeping Brown in there. So they're absolutely doing it. They're doing it on purpose. There's a campaign for it. I have to think I've been kind of on the fence with it. Is he going to make it? I don't know. If you look at the names, I think it's close. I feel like the momentum, what he's done over the last few weeks, playing his best ball the way he is now, and a couple of strong games down the stretch with the Celtics finishing at least a 2 seed, I think he's got it. I think he might even possibly threaten for second team, and it might not even be as close as we think. So again, if you're talking about the thing that freaks people out, and the percentages starts at forward, I believe Bobby had said it was somewhere close to 60% of his starts. Bobby had Bobby had that stat the other day. If Jalen does this whole thing goes away. Oh my God. Thank you so much. I forgot. I'm such a bad Greek. I was with my dad today too. Ikos Pempti Martio, Greek Independence Day. That's what it is today. Oh man, I should have Greeked out a little bit more. Anyway, thank you for bringing that up. I totally spaced. I really am I'm really a negligent Greek. Happy Greek Independence Day to all of you out there. I think he gets it. And I think if he gets it, there's a lot of stress removed and everything is good. With the Celtics going forward here, rest of the way and into the summer, it's going to be a much more peaceful summer. One of the questions is Rob back? I don't know. Yes. I kind of like things, a lot of what I'm seeing here lately. And again, limited minutes, but also you didn't need to. I actually love the fact that he's made an impact in really short minutes the last couple of games without feeling the need to play him because the games got out of hand. So he kind of missed that fourth stint. He's still playing in those like 5-minute increments. He got up to 19 minutes today. I think it was 16 the day before. But yes, I still think, like physically speaking, he's looking closer to how he looked before. What's up, Jimmy?
What's up? I don't know if it's any better.
I don't know. I'm happy you're here.
Actually, it looks worse now, to be completely honest. But
thanks, JB. That was nice.
Very thanks, nice JB. Sorry, my internet blows. I don't know what's going on. I just tried to reset
it. No, Kevin, it's not a solo show. Jimmy got Jimmy was a little hazy. So
can you hear me at all?
Yeah.
Do you have me?
Yeah, I got you, buddy. Okay, you're doing awesome. Just keep going.
Don't lie to me, dude. I hate when my internet sucks.
What? No, we're good.
What did I miss? How about that?
I said that I was dubious because I think that Jalen, there's a lot of things. Staying on the Jalen thing, I think it's not only the Tatum sitting, like what is he doing in the game with 7 minutes to go? Again, this isn't a bad thing. I really do think they know what they're doing there. Like they kept him in to get 40 today. They absolutely kept him in to get 40. And why do that other than to get him more?
Because he wants it.
But I'm saying they're acknowledging multiple things, right? Like Jalen wants it. It's good for his All-NBA case. Yeah. It's good for the franchise. It shows commitment from the franchise to paying him max dollar. Right. There's no question this was a concerted effort tonight, to keep him in there and to let him get it.
It's just now what you're doing now is it's kind of a tough balance because you want to do what's best for the player, and what's best for the team, I guess, in the long run, right? If you can get him to resign,
Yeah.
but you also want to do the smart. Like, what would have happened if, God forbid, he went up for a rebound and turned
That's
his
the
ankle
downside.
up
Yep.
35 points, and everyone's saying, "What the hell are they doing?" Blah blah blah. Well, we know why they're doing it, but it's not necessarily to the benefit of the team in the short term because obviously you're up that many points. Jaylen Brown didn't even need to play at all in that fourth quarter. Never mind with 6 minutes left, up 40. So it's kind of that balance now. But this is what were you about to say
You're
something?
going solo for 5 seconds. Full screen. I'm still here.
Fine, but this is what I was trying to say is you're trying to balance the long term good for the team with the short term good for the team. So now you have a situation where you want to do what Jaylen Brown wants, which is for him to get his All NBA team. You want him to get his 40 plus points and to continue to show people that he can be a number one and can carry the team on his own. He doesn't need Jason Tatum or any player for that matter. But you also have bigger plans this year, and that's to win a championship. In order to do so, you need to make sure your guys are healthy. You need to make sure your guys aren't worn down once the playoffs come around. We just saw Joel Embiid today basically admit like he's worn down. He needs a break at some point. I mean, this guy's Joel Embiid is going balls to the walls right now. He's trying to win an MVP, but his team's obviously trying to make a run for a long playoff run as well. So all these teams are, I think, going through it in some capacity, John. And again, it's not necessarily a bad problem to have. You know, you've got guys who are just trying to do work on other teams and drop 40 on other teams' heads. Like it's really not the worst problem to have. It's just you want to make sure that they go about it in a smart enough way where they can have both things. They might actually be able to have their cake and eat it. I guess we'll find out because tonight was a perfect example of trying to do that.
Yep, no doubt. And I mean, again, it has benefit. It's just interesting because it's
If it
part of the
wasn't on the line, I would have been pissed. I would have been like, this is just Jaylen Brown just trying to, pad some stats. And, it's
I
kind of like
think they
almost
all
comes
know what
off as like, I want to say
it,
immature, but it's like, what do you really care more about? But it makes sense that,
it's
like, there's
silly.
reason to do it. But there's reason to
Yes.
do it.
If there's not reason and it's just, oh, let me get my 40, let me
Right.
get, fine, whatever. That seems silly, especially when you're risking injury. But this
But
is
there's
a
reason
reason to
to
do
do it
it.
now.
But the
Yeah.
fact that they know there's a reason to do it is what's most interesting to me. That it seems like a concerted effort to get him to do it, which means everybody kind of knows what's up. Brogdon talking about it. I think there's a thing going on here, and I think there's a get
Thanks.
him.
I just thought that was funny. Like, what did we say wrong there? Like,
I don't know. Some people just stumble across here, and it just isn't what they wanted.
they're in and out, which is fine.
That's fine. You
Thanks
can
for
go,
coming
man.
by.
You're good, man. Are you
Continue
still
on with your
here?
scrolling.
He's still here. Just leave if you think we're a
Yeah.
joke, you freaking
Yeah.
clown. My God,
Just hate watching.
why make another comment after these guys are clowns?
Yeah.
It's like ordering food, shoveling it in your mouth, saying this is terrible, and then
This
just
place
continuing to
stinks.
eat it.
Yeah, I can't believe this food's so bad. And then
Oh, this is so bad.
coming back the next week and getting more of it.
What is this? What is the purpose of this podcast? I'll ask you that.
Yeah.
Oh, this food. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We'll tell you a little bit about these guys again. As you know, we're 2 weeks into this deal. I don't know how long this deal is going to be here, so you got to get going. Sign up here, fanduel.com/Boston, if you want to get in on some bonus bets. 200 bones coming your way. You deposit 10, you win 5. It's all you need to do, okay? Sign up, fanduel.com/Boston. All your favorite sports. I told you guys what to do tonight. If you listened, you did well. This was a gimme, a layup. Jaylen Brown over 29 points, 29.5
I wish
points.
I saw that, dude. I would have handled it myself, but you know what? My brain isn't there yet. Like I'm not thinking
Yeah.
like, oh, let me bet this, but it will because of
This
our
one was easy. This one was
FanDuel and
easy. I
stuff.
threw it out there. That's a freebie for you guys. But check it out.
Were there any dunks in the first 3 minutes? Because that's the hot one.
That's a fun one for you. Yeah. But check it out again. FanDuel.com/Boston. Make every moment more in America's #1 sports book if you do check it out. Did somebody jump on here? I didn't mean to put up a panic meter. I
Ooh,
meant to put up this.
panic meter is a lot lower, I think, right now than it
We're
was a
very
week
low
ago.
on it. I do need to tell you 21 or over in order to take part in any legal betting, of course. And you must be present in Massachusetts. Present, not a resident, just present. They know where you are. Okay, you got to be present in
Tracking you.
Massachusetts in order to take advantage of this special deal. First online real money wager only is $10. That's all you got to do is deposit it. Bet five. It's non-withdrawable bonus bets expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms, sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, hope and help is here. Gambling helpline, ma.org, or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support. I got no problem making it entirely a Jaylen Brown show, but there's definitely some other things we could talk about. Give me your 2 cents on the Smart thing.
Thanks, Catherine. What, getting
Hey,
ejected?
thank you, Catherine. Facts and thoughts.
Love from
Keep up the great
Canada.
work, guys. Canada,
Facts
where it all
flat out.
began for us, okay?
It
I
really
would
did
say
begin all in
where
Canada.
we discovered ourselves, where we discovered our true selves was broadcasting during the COVID and the Raptors series with the Celtics
Yeah.
and the Raptors. And a lot of people from Canada jumped on, and man, was that fun.
That was a great
Feisty
series.
fans, passionate fans.
Great fans, yeah.
Oh my God, that was awesome. That was my favorite. Every once in a while, you get like a Philly troll in here or whatever. Those guys are pathetic.
Those guys
The
suck.
Toronto fans were freaking
We like Toronto.
awesome.
Yeah, we want a
Yeah.
Celtics Raptors series because we like Toronto. It's fun because Canada's obviously such a big hockey country, but they're basketball diehards for sure up there. So
Yeah.
shout out to Catherine and the rest of the Canucks.
Thank you, Catherine. Whether you are a Toronto fan or not, thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging
She's
out.
a
Thanks for the
Celtics fan,
compliment.
dude.
Well, not everybody is. Who was it? Who was the one we had who sat in there and she told us, was it? It wasn't Annie. It was Nat Floriel.
Nat, I remember Nat.
Nat was
Shout
a
out Nat.
Raptors fan, joined the stream, wasn't a Celtics fan at all, just found it fun and entertaining and just hung out
We
and
converted
kind
her.
of got sort of into the Celtics. I think she's done with us though, and that's okay. But we miss you, Nat. If you're out there, I miss you. Those were like OG fans, and that was a ton of fun. The Smart ejection it was silly as hell.
They
But
didn't
also,
replay it, did they?
They went on a crazy run right when he left the game.
Yeah. Well, Bobby told us that he was just like jokingly talking trash with Romeo, and apparently that got him the boot. I don't know.
It was. I'm not trying to crap on the broadcast. It was really poorly covered. You never got replays. You never got
No.
to see it. You didn't see whether Romeo was smiling too. What I saw, you could see it in one frame. Popovich and Grant are laughing off to the side over there while it's happening. It seemed pretty dumb. But the Celtics did go on a crazy run after that happened. I really want to know what he said to Romeo. I hope one of our
Guys being dudes, man.
I hope one of our guys goes in there and gets Romeo in this one. Josue, I hope you got him. But not much to talk about there because it ended up not being impactful, but it was pretty silly. One thing that was impactful for sure, just the Derek White continuing to Derek White.
Dude. 7 for 11 today.
Another insanely efficient game.
Plus 41, is that a typo?
Plus freaking 41 in this game.
I guess they did win by like around that much. So
I know,
makes sense.
but that's insane.
That is insane. Like that's just like a party out in the court. Like that must have been his favorite game of his NBA career. Like every time he's out there,
did they
just
score
scoring.
when he played?
He must. I don't think so. Based on the numbers I'm seeing here, he was just having a blast for however long he was out there, 30 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah,
but he's been awesome, man. I mean, we've said it many times on the show. Bobby keeps saying that you need to do an apology cam. He's just completely missing the point on that. But he's been unbelievable. There's nobody in their right mind could criticize Derek White this season. He's been their unsung hero. Obviously everyone thinks of Tatum and Brown, but he's been their third best guy this year. I think we could say that
easily.
Yeah, for sure.
Easily.
Yeah, I mean, we all thought it was going to be Brogdon, and Brogdon's been great too in his own right.
The stat nerds will tell you he's their second best player. So again, there's no question he's been their third best and their most consistent player pretty much all year. He didn't have the big assist number tonight, but one of the things I liked about the team was how spread out the assists were. 4,
Mhm.
4, 2, 3, 2, 2 for a total of 28, which again, you should have at least 28 assists when you make this many buckets. But again, they
Yeah.
spread it out. They did what they had to do. Another game where they shoot 40 from three. This was just like crazy efficient game. But
57
like,
from the field, 41
you're
from three.
legit talking about him not just as your third best player, but as your number three scoring option at this point. I guess Brogdon's in there too, but like
Right.
being able to get points out of those guys is something they didn't have. I mean, think about it. You had last year's Derek White, who wasn't this
Oof.
year's
We
Derek
don't
White.
talk about him. We don't talk about last year's Derek.
He couldn't score, so he almost played himself off the court at times with his offense because the shooting was so bad and he was in his own head with it. It
Mm-hmm.
did become a problem, and he had to be used strategically. He couldn't play 36, 37 minutes like he's playing now. And then Brogdon, these are two things you didn't have last year that completely changed the dynamic of the offense. Like White
Absolutely.
being able to go out there and just get 20 like it's his job
Right.
is a
I wouldn't say
crazy
I mean I don't
development.
yeah, I mean I wouldn't say I'm there exactly with it. I don't expect 20 out of him every night, but like we used to say like, oh, if you can get like, oh, it would be unbelievable if you could get 15 points from Derek White tonight and like that might help you. And now it's like I kind of expect 15 plus.
That's kind
So
of like what all we wanted, right? You're
right.
like, if he
It
could
was
just
like
get 12,
gravy.
13, you're fine. But he was getting 2 and 4 and like 1 of
Right.
7 shooting. It was
Right,
so
right.
bad
Now
that
he's
it was
shooting it
just,
more. He's
yeah.
more confident in his shot. He's a guy that I think he rides the wave of confidence more than a lot of guys do, and he might even admit to that. That's just based on what I've seen from him over. What's it been now? It's been. What did I see the stat? Was it 100 game? It was a full year or something like that. I don't know. It was some marker that he hit recently in terms of games played, and it's been up and down. But recently, or this season, it's been up, man. I mean, the guy, he looks confident out there. 19 points tonight. The last three games, it's been 19, 20, 22, I think, and those are all been, pretty much blowouts in
In March,
one
he
way.
averaged 20 points a game,
Yeah. So there you are.
on 50, 40, 90 splits, basically. Like, that's an all-star, like that's crazy good with the defense. He has a shot at like top, maybe not first team, but he probably makes an all defensive team this year too. So, because I think the shot blocking, I think, is the thing that pops
Yeah,
for a lot of
for
people. It
sure.
makes it more noticeable, leading all guards in shots blocked. But like, you also look at a team now that is like a top 3 or 4 defensive unit, and Smart hasn't been at his best, and Rob hasn't played most of the year, so somebody's going to get rewarded out of that group. It's going to be White. White's going to make an all defensive team this year.
That would be something. I mean, that's a borderline bold prediction for you.
I think he makes it. I think he
He's been
makes it.
great, and that's why it's so frustrating, or it has been so frustrating when he's not in the game late, like in the fourth quarter, for example. Like this is arguably your best two-way player on the team. So why are you forgetting him?
Yeah.
Derek is bad right now. You just don't understand ball. True, that's
He
probably
was
true. Yeah.
he was good last year. We didn't get ball, and
Yeah,
now he's
yeah.
bad.
We
Yeah.
yeah, if you liked him when he was bad, like you were just first to it. Like you're more hip to it. It's like now that he's good, he doesn't have any fans
I don't
anymore.
like this good version of Derek White
Yeah, yeah.
anymore.
Hey, John, how about this? I don't want to overlook this.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. Sam with a
What? What?
$50 super chat.
I need to
Thank
put
you,
on my
Sam.
I need to put my junior soprano
I don't
glasses
know if
on
you
for
want to answer
this.
this question. How did you meet How did you meet Chelsea? What's it like to work for him?
Oh my God,
Ooh,
I
how
could
much
spend the
time do
rest of
you
the
have?
show on that.
Yeah, how much time do you have?
Actually, Jimmy Toscano's Jimmy met Gelso because he was like an originator of the
Yeah.
Garden Report. Him, Jared Weiss, Kevin O'Connor. That's honestly like a pretty friggin' heavy hitting trio when you guys were doing stuff
Yeah.
there.
We got
That
some.
was pretty
We
good.
have some big names for sure. But I met Nick even before that. I mean, just from the blog life, Celtics blog, and him at CLNS. There's a lot of cross pattern, and then we got together one day, and the rest is just history. I'm able to do a lot of content for him, which is great. And to answer your question, what's it like to work for him? It's like picture working for like your crazy uncle or something like that. That's kind of what it's like.
except crazier and even more avuncular.
Yeah,
But no, I mean, and Jimmy introduced me to Nick, and
I
that's how
did.
I kind of got involved with CLNS in the
Yeah,
first
sorry
place.
about
So
that, John. Sorry about
no, it's fine. And Nick and those guys used to consult over at NBC when I was over there. So there was some relationship in terms of that. And,
that. Yep.
when they were just starting to figure out podcasting and Nick was giving all the secrets away. And then I
Yeah.
came over and I was like,
You
stop
just
giving
did.
your secrets away.
Right.
No. But again, Nick was a pioneer in the business
And
as far
speaking
as
of
this
him,
goes.
thanks for the
Huh?
$10, Nick.
Keep saying nice things about Nick. The money goes to the
Yeah, yeah.
hosts, not to Nick, not to Nick Gelso. So if we can coax Nick into giving big money,
Yeah,
bring it.
keep him coming. Nick will match any donation you guys give us. How about that?
And he'll hand sew you a t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah. We'll autograph him. We'll have him sign out t-shirts too.
So that's how we met
Anyways,
Gelso. And yes, for $50, we'll answer almost anything. Thank you.
yeah, yeah.
Appreciate that.
And this
Yeah.
is also true. If you've watched the show with me and Nick, it can get feisty, but it's all love. Don't think
Yeah.
that we actually hate each other.
Yeah.
Except when I do. But anyways.
Yeah.
What else?
So
What
Derek
else do
White
we
was
like?
good. We can talk about Spry Rob. We'll also wait for Bobby Manning to kind of jump
Are
back
they
in.
coming or what?
I told them we are running out of time here, so they better get going. It's a Sunday. That being said, Jimmy, and again, you can't see the numbers. There's a good amount of people in here, so welcome for those of you on a
Okay.
Sunday. On a
I'll hang
Sunday,
out
we're
for a
pretty
bit.
psyched to have you. We will tell you a little bit about a couple of sponsors here while we have time, and again, waiting for Bobby and Josue to jump in here and give their take and see who they talk to in the locker room. But
Take Quake.
Athletic Greens, you know about it now.
Dude.
Grab it and go. Absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced ingredients, probiotics, and adaptogens help you start your day right. Supports gut health, nervous system, immune system, energy, recovery, focus, aging. Basically, all those things that you're probably chasing a million different pills and supplements to do. You get it right then and there. Drop it and you're done. You don't have to think about it the rest of the day because you've taken care of all your nutritional needs. Obviously, don't go out and eat like 4 cheeseburgers after. But
Yeah,
if you're chasing a bunch of different pills and vitamins, there's really no reason to do that. Comes out to about $3 a day. It's well worth it. So check it out. Go over there and get athleticgreens.com/garden. Free 1-year supply vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. We will also give you a special gift ourselves that I will tell you
Yeah, I need some
about.
t-shirts. People are getting on me.
Are they?
Yep.
How
I'm
mad
gonna get
are
my
they?
fingers broken soon if I don't start.
Okay. One other thing we need to tell you about: the Garden Report podcast. The Garden Report Postgame podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. And again, for those of you out there looking for therapy, and if you've, I know a lot of people, have probably benefited from it in the past. I know I have.
Me
So there's absolutely good reason to give it a try. In this day and age, I think a lot of people are doing it. And also a lot of people are struggling to find someone because it's so in demand right now. Some people can't find someone at home. So again, if you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a really great option. Convenient, flexible, affordable, entirely online. Fill out a brief questionnaire. You'll get matched up with a licensed therapist. And you can switch up anytime, no additional charge. So again, visit betterhelp.com/garden today. Get 10% off your first month. That's well worth it. Betterhelp.com/garden. Get 10% off your first month when you sign up. And if you support either of those sponsors here at the Garden Report, you get yourself a t-shirt.
There you
Jimmy
go.
Toscano has a box at his house. We'll give out Jimmy's address. I have no problem doing that. You can just
have
knock
any.
on the door. Yep. Knock on the door and get it. And Jimmy will be there. He'll show up in a hard hat. He'll hand you your t-shirt and
We'll take a picture, send you on your way.
and send you take a little selfie on your way. You get a Jimmy
Uh,
Toscano hard hat selfie if you show up at his door and that t-shirt. Plus also you get great health with AG1 and obviously
we're
the
giving you guys good sponsors here. We're giving you guys
tremendous
healthy
benefits of therapy.
sponsors.
Yes, tremendous benefits of therapy.
You can actually get better by listening to the Garden Report. Think about that.
So let's take a spin on Rob. I mean, is this as Rob is going to be, and is it good enough?
I would say yes and yes. This year, I'm not saying that is the best we're going to see from Rob for the rest of his career. But
We got to pause. We told people that we'd answer anything.
oh shoot, you did tell people that. Okay, wow. Favorite music artist. I mean, I have so many. I
Jimmy
mean,
is a musician, and if those of you
probably
who haven't checked
myself
him out yet,
first.
if you
I'm just
haven't
kidding.
gone to see Jimmy play music, you're not a good friend.
Well, John, wait, have you been yet?
But
Learning
Jimmy's
a
a
lot.
musician. I'll give him the first bite at this apple.
Well, I mean, I could go so many different ways. I think the one that comes to mind, John Mayer was just here. I actually didn't get a chance to go to his gig, but he's somebody that I definitely love and look up to as a musician. Man, I mean, geez, there's so many. I mean, I don't even know where to start right now, to be honest. What do you got?
Oh, I'm not gonna answer that. It was for you. I was
You're not
telling
gonna
you.
answer that, dude. You got to answer some of your favorite artists, though.
I used to see a lot of local music. I like, the roots of my musical taste is in a lot of like 60s and 70s based sort of rock, but
Mhm.
I'm pretty broad at this point, and I also
I'm
like
doing a
punk. I
lot of
like hip
Zach
hop.
Bryan right now. I play a lot of
Yeah.
Zach Bryan. He's, so a lot of country
Yep.
stuff I play. Like I said, John Mayer, Brett
Yep.
Eldridge. I'm just going through some lists that I see. Morgan
Yeah. I was
Wallen,
like
country
kind of like
guys.
a pseudo deadhead sort of guy. So like, that's kind of my lane, but it goes beyond that. Other question here, scale of 1 to 10. Um, what does it say?
Kings of Leon.
What does a game
What
against the
else do we
Bucks
got
mean?
here? Beebs,
It means a
obviously.
lot, but you need the Bucks to lose a couple, including that one. So you're running out of time. Celtics, I think, almost have to run the table in order to get it done, including a win at Milwaukee, and you still need help. And
Justin Timberlake.
Milwaukee's schedule doesn't look great.
Yeah,
It
they're not
does
going to
not look
catch the
great.
Bucks. I don't really think that's really on their radar. Um,
Yeah,
I don't think they need to, really. I mean, how often do we see a team win on the road? All the time. Flip home court. You can flip home court in the first game. What are you gonna do? Run out of gas trying to become the top seed, only to have it all get flipped on its head after game one or game two anyway. So, I don't think that's at the top of their list. I mean,
yeah,
if it worked out great. I mean, they're beating teams like they are now, then maybe it'll happen. But I think the Bucks are gonna end up that way, and the Celtics will just play who they play. It's more
yeah,
important to them. Like matchups are more important than seed.
yeah. I only listen to bouzouki music for those people out there. You know what that is? Have you ever seen bouzouki players play
I don't even know what that
at a Greek
is,
place?
dude.
It's like a little kind of like Greek, basically mandolin or uh, you know, they are incredible. Yeah, I mean, most Greek music is kind of played by ding 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 ding, ding, but it's like they're so freaking fast, and it's really impressive to watch. Actually, I'm not gonna lie.
I
Um,
don't know what that is, but maybe I'll have to check it out.
what are you saying with the glasses, Dirk? I can't see. What did you say, buddy?
I should go get my glasses. Make you feel better about wearing them.
Yeah, I really don't get. These are not powerful. These are like the weakest reading glasses known to man.
My
It
my
doesn't.
prescription like two is like one and a quarter, I think.
This is a
One and a half.
one. It's a one. They're so weak. Anyway, um,
Somebody asked me what type of music I play. Radio stuff, country, pop,
he's
rock,
basically John Mayer.
classics, stuff that you hear today. I'm playing next Friday, not this Friday coming up, but next Friday at Hunter's in Boston. It's a bar in South Boston. It's a good spot, great food.
Yeah,
And if you guys want to check it out,
yeah. It would be ridiculous to not go. Like,
I
there's
had a
no.
couple private gigs. I actually have a gig this Saturday coming up. It's a Botox party. So a bunch of girls get together and they get Botox, I guess. And I'm
That's
like,
not real. You're
swear to
getting took
God,
here. Yeah,
swear to God, it's happening, and I'm playing at
Jimmy's
it,
a guitarist, guys. For those asking.
and I'm gonna maybe get some Botox while I'm there as part of my payment. So if you
Yeah,
see me look a little bit different, or if I can't move my mouth that much on the next show next
yeah,
week, it's because I may have got a shot here, a shot there.
yeah. I'm kind of like stoner rock sort of guy.
Yeah, we know. We could guess.
Fish dead almonds.
People just
Like a.
accuse you of being on drugs every show, anyways.
It's so funny. No, Joe. It's Josue. They think I'm drunk. I literally like.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
just.
Yeah, they think I'm always high too. I'm like, no, I'm just tired. Sorry,
I
guys.
don't drink anymore. I'm tired, man. I got 3 friggin' kids. Like, I don't have time to drink. Like, I can't be hungover ever. It's impossible.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know how you'd be able to do it.
yeah,
You specifically.
yeah. We will wait. We will wait for
Rob
maybe.
Williams, what do you think about Rob Williams, dude? You don't think he gave
I'm
your
liking it,
impression?
man. I think it's. I think this is the. I
Seven
think this
field
is the
goal
guy.
attempts. That's a good thing.
I think it's the guy you're getting. And that's fine. I think they can win with this guy.
Totally. I mean, what's the alternative? More Luke? I
No,
mean,
I'm just saying,
please.
like, I think everyone's waiting for like the magic Rob of last year to come back and whatever. You might not get it, but you might get close-ish, and I think that's it.
Well, that's the thing. I think he is who he is the rest of the season, and then he needs to have just an unbelievable offseason. I don't know what the hell happened last offseason, but clearly not much. And it just needs to be completely different. But he needs more time to get to back to where he needs to be.
I'm
Right
fired
now,
up.
they just need him to give them. If he can give them 20 good minutes, that would be great. That would be honestly enough to I think get them where they want to go.
Um, we were debating this a little. Is there any, Jimmy? Is there any potential like worrisome? Is there any first round opponent that
Say
could
it.
cause just like there's no it's a dumb question in
A
the sense that
slim amount
nobody
of
can
fear.
beat them. Is there anybody that can give them more trouble than you want to see them get in the first round of all of the potential ones? Bobby had asked it regarding Brooklyn. And that's why it kind of came up. And then someone in the chat just asked here about Miami.
Well,
Which of these teams is the one you'd like? All right, all things being equal, I think they beat them, but I'd rather not play this one.
so the Knicks are not an option. The Knicks aren't going to be a likely
Knicks are
first
pretty
round.
much locked into the five.
Yeah,
They're not going to be
because
there.
they would be a tough first round opponent just because they play freaking hard as hell. So the Heat
Yeah.
would. So when I say scared, like I don't think the Celtics would lose in that round. But do you really want to go seven against a team in the first round? No. But like Jimmy Butler is kind of like the boogeyman, right? I mean, he almost did it last year. He really, really almost did it. And there's just something about
I
Jimmy Butler.
cannot believe in that game. I still
I know.
can't believe he had a three to win it.
It was crazy. And honestly, he is that dude.
That'd be the greatest collapse in Celtics history if that
Totally.
we would be talking about that
It
forever. But
barely
yeah,
gets talked about now because, they ended up moving on and they went to the NBA
he is
Finals and
that
everything.
dude.
He's that dude. He is a man amongst boys out there a lot of times. And until I see otherwise, I'm never going to just be like, oh, yeah, like they'll just make quick work of the Miami Heat. No, I don't think that. So I wouldn't love that as a first round opponent. Again, I think they would advance. But do you really want to get beaten up by Jimmy Butler for 6 games before you advance? Probably
And
not.
the you don't want to see Missoula get undressed by the best coach in
That's
basketball.
another really, really
And
good point.
the
That's a
best
really
coach
good point.
in the field
Best
in the
coach.
Eastern Conference.
Best coach is huge, and when you're in a series, that's when coaching really matters a lot more because you have adjustments, right? And you go look at film and you come back the next game and what are they going to do differently? So obviously the Heat have a huge advantage there. I don't care who they're playing, but certainly against the Celtics, against a first year head coach, that would definitely be an advantage. So
That's the one I don't want.
yeah, that would be a fun one for sure. But I don't think that you're licking your chops to play the Heat. Certainly not.
Yeah.
So that might be it. Now they just what they who did they just beat the crap out of? Brooklyn?
I
Or was
don't
it
know.
the
No,
Bobby,
Spurs?
Brooklyn beat the crap
Vice
out of them,
versa.
Jimmy.
Bobby,
Okay,
we're asking
gotcha.
you a question about that. Is
What's
anyone
up,
giving you
Bobby?
problems first round? And one of our chatters asked about that, whether Miami does, and Jimmy and I kind of think yes for a couple of reasons. But before
Here
we
we
get,
go.
what do we? Here we go. Like that's how
I
I
just
feel every time you talk about Toronto.
Oh, okay, yeah. The good thing is, I was looking at BPI today, and they kind of put like a decimal point on where the
Blood
most likely
pressure
standing
index.
spot
Yep.
is, and
Yeah.
no high blood pressure. I think it's going to be Atlanta or Brooklyn in that spot. I think that win last night by Brooklyn might have helped them potentially stay up at 6 and leave Miami behind them because Miami's just been so sporadic this year, all over the place. So that's kind of a toss-up. It's one of those two or Atlanta, I think. And Atlanta, talk about another team that's great one night and awful the next.
Yep.
So out of those three teams, of course, Miami's the one you want to see the least out of those three.
That's all we're saying because of the Spoelstra factor and the Butler factor.
Yeah, so
that's it though. The team itself, I mean, the Celtics should be able.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just based on talent, then obviously the Celtics have more talent. But again, it's Butler and Spoelstra.
Before we get all the way down the road on this one, Bobby, because we can talk about it. Just you came out of the locker room in the interview area here. Anything stand out to you?
I talked to Romeo for a little bit. I did find Romeo. Caught up with Derek too, the two guys in that trade from a year ago, and Romeo seems to be happy there in San Antonio. Played decently tonight, I thought. Tough assignment on Jalen. Of course, he had missed a ton of games before this and looked healthy, which was important. And, same Romeo. Real sullen, soft-spoken, but very nice. Took a lot of time with me there. Talked after the game about how surprised he was about the trade.
Did we get Romeo on camera?
No, just a voice thing.
Got it. Okay.
They were still whatever.
Did he say anything about what happened with him and Smart? Like, did you mention that Smart and him were trash talking, and that's why Smart got ejected?
Yeah, I didn't ask Romeo that, but I did hear that was what went down right there. And then, of course, the pool report said there was some derogatory language toward the official. I wonder if the official mistook something he said toward Romeo as toward him. And, of course, I asked Mazzulla about that incident after the game. He said he didn't get an explanation. But he's not worried. And, the one thing I think he said that was important there is that Smart's not going to put us in a difficult position going forward. So we'll see. I mean, a lot of incidents lately, right? The thing with Mathurin yesterday, no text out of that, but a very tense moment, frustration with no call there. The ejection with Young, I've seen him complaining a ton. You hope that there's not a real microscope on top of Smart right now. We've talked about that with the team before, right, John? That all their complaining in the past puts them in the limelight a little bit when it comes to these officials. I wonder if they're really keeping an eye on Smart and his reaction to some of these calls.
Josue, who'd you get to talk to?
I spoke to Malcolm a little bit, talking about I want
to play some, but yeah, what were you going to say?
Well, there's a couple ways we can go. I mean, what he said in general about the Celtics still chasing number one, I love that. I love that that he said that and he shared that's still the goal. He was open also in saying that they were surprised that the Bucks caught up, but that's what happens when a team goes on a 16-game winning streak. I mean, I guess that's what happens. And the Celtics, the fact that they're still trying to get that, I love that, especially hearing it from Malcolm Brogdon, who's sort of been the guy who's always keeps it real, right, Bobby? I feel like he's in terms of those great quotes, he's been doing that all year long. Yeah. But what I asked him about in particular is about Derek White. Yeah. I asked about Derek White. I mean, like, obviously who he was before the season, or at the beginning of the season, compared to now, and the best way he could describe it was just confidence. I mean, he's just so confident in his shot as a playmaker, as a defender, and he said, look, he's important. He's very important to this team and to the playoff run. So, catching up with Brogdon was cool. I love what he had to say about Derek White, and especially when you think about what Popovich had to say before the game, and describing Derek White as someone that wasn't quite sure he belonged in the NBA. You think about his story about going undrafted, playing for, I believe it was a D3 school before clinging on to a first division college, and really had to just ultimate underdog, right? And I just think that goes that goes great with who he's been for this team this year, and of course the tremendous strides he's made.
Yeah. And I love that.
He literally is the most mellow guy. Like, again, he's here, and his high is here, and his low is here. He just never. There's no volatility. Even his bad games don't seem so bad. Like, everything is just he's just very, very calm and measured guy. The one thing I was going to talk about is because I want to get your take. You guys are there at the game. Was it obvious that the Celtics are trying to get Brown buckets? And trying to because we joked about hey, let's boost his All-NBA case by getting.
Well, it wasn't hard tonight, John. It wasn't hard tonight.
I'm saying that's concerted, and so this is what I found interesting. We Jimmy and I referenced it. Malcolm Brogdon, I know it's on people's mind. So what was the question to Malcolm when he? Maybe we can hear it here. Let's play the soundbite, and then I'll kind of follow up.
Yeah, it's right at the beginning too.
With it, with what we're talking about. But this is Malcolm talking about Jalen. Okay.
He's the best shooting guard in the league. He'll be All NBA. He'll make one of the teams this year. And his game really speaks for himself. When JT's out, he's the number one option. He's showing that he can be that. So. He's put in the work. He's evolved since we came to the league together. He's evolved and taken giant steps forward every year. And he's playing at an extremely high level.
Pax.
So yes, the question was just talk about JB, and he just goes down the road of saying best shooting guard in the league. I want that to be clear because they're calling him a guard for all NBA voting, and he'll definitely make all NBA. Who asked him, is Jaylen Brown the best shooting guard in the league, and will he make all NBA?
No one did. That wasn't the question. Yeah, that wasn't the question.
That's not the question. So he goes there instantly. That means it's on a lot of people's minds.
Everyone
right now.
knows, John. Yeah.
Everyone, right? So I'll ask you guys. You're like,
that's why I love when
obvious.
Malcolm's up there, man. He always says stuff like that. But yeah.
One of the benefits of the media thing we talked about the last week or two here is putting it out there, the implications. And John, you brought this up. Was this a negotiation? One of the benefits of his name getting out there and him becoming a headline is the analysis of that process. And I'm sure that wasn't the reason he did what he did, but it's a nice byproduct of it is that it gets people talking about him and his future and the implications of that vote. And I know the voters are aware of it, the ones who are really locked into that. And I think they understand.
Could they sabotage it, Bobby? Here. Could a opposing team reporter sabotage the voting?
We've talked about that
in order to improve their odds of getting Jaylen Brown in the future.
I looked at the voters.
Could happen, Jimmy.
You don't think?
No.
Some team. I don't want to throw any specific writers on the bus. Obviously.
Not everybody moves like you, Bobby.
Atlanta, Philly.
I was gonna say Atlanta. Yeah, you don't think a writer might say, "Hey, there's a better chance he comes to Atlanta if the money's even."
We have one viewer on Twitch according to our stream right now.
I see that too.
I think the more important, I was looking at the field of voters, Jimmy, just to see who's in it. A lot of local guys, a lot of national guys, a lot of TV guys. He actually got 3 votes last year. 2 from some writers. I think one was with The Athletic, another writer. And the third All-NBA vote, and I think he'll be back this year on the voting field, Kendrick Perkins voted Jaylen Brown last year.
Perk got a vote?
Yep.
Wow.
That was quick. What the hell?
Perk voted Brown All-NBA last year, so I think you can pencil that one in again this year.
Okay, so that's one
great.
for him.
I want to say hi to whoever watches our show on Twitch. That's great.
Yeah,
we'll get you some company at some point. I promise.
Can I circle back to the White thing though? Josue brought up.
What was that? What was that super chat that we got? Did that ask us a question, or was that just
the question asked about whether you move on? We've had that conversation quite a bit. Yeah, look, this is the whole ball game here. He gets all NBA, and you offer him a supermax, and he says no. You have to move.
You do,
because at that point, you have the hammer, and he's saying no. I want to see what else is out there.
This offseason, you're saying, right?
Yes. But if he doesn't make it, then you got to decide what you're going to do. That's the indecision. He doesn't make all NBA. You got to float another year, hope he makes it. So you have that as a negotiating tool.
I think that's the order of operations there for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, you can go in any direction you want, but Jimmy and I are done in 3 minutes, and you guys do the rest of the show.
I was just joking, Bobby. Go ahead.
Back to what you were saying about Pop and White there. I loved a lot of the stuff Pop said pregame. We asked him about Ime too, who he said he hopes lands somewhere else. Said he was really disappointed in seeing how things went down there. But on that White point, clearly a guy he invested in and made a big impression on early. And I was just talking to him about that and that thing about, you belong at this level. White was saying that he'd be in like the cafeteria and Pop would just come up to him and be like, you belong here and stuff like that. But it's great because he seems to handpick these guys out of the group, and he has a ton of young guys there now. He said he talks to the guys he thinks have potential about the leadership thing there. And I think the Celtics, go back to something I texted earlier, John, I think they gained so much by getting White in there. And, of course, so much came from the staff, too, that was here, whether it was Ime or Will Hardy or guys who came over from the Spurs. But just White's presence. And I think Brian Barrett put the record up since White's been here. And
Jimmy referenced that stat, too.
Yeah, but I would love for you to give us the accurate numbers on it.
It's ridiculous, the record since he's been here.
I got you.
They've won, I think, like 60% of their games. Tonight was the 101st game he's played with Boston. 71, make it tonight 72 and 29 since White arrived. Not including tonight, he's plus 586. This is a grand slam.
Not including tonight? He was a plus 41 tonight.
Wow. All right, so add 41 to that.
Yeah, add 41 to that number. 600 and whatever, 20.
620 something.
Yeah, not a math guy.
This was a grand slam of a trade, and I thought it was great at the time, but I think it went even better than I imagined it would at the time. He's a starter now. I think we looked at him as maybe a bench filler guy at this point. You could argue, and I think he is, I wrote this yesterday, the best guard among all the ones they have. And again tonight, he gets that shoe in 32 minutes with the garbage time in the fourth. We've had this debate. I think it's over. This guy needs to play 40 minutes every night in the playoffs. And whoever that shaves off, if it's Brogdon, if it's Smart, you can't take this guy off the court. He's on fire from three. He never turns it over. Do you see he has one turnover a game this year?
Yeah, it's just he's
blocks
just playing.
shots,
He's
he
just playing
defends
better.
everybody.
And yet he's still an afterthought in the fourth.
It's
quarter.
not. It's just not that. You know, what's so funny is we spent time trashing White last year because he was so ineffective on offense and his shooting problems, and then this year, you know, like. And Smart got a ton of love for the turnaround last year because he really did the way he started playing that point guard position. But this year, you just gotta go with what the numbers show and what your eyes tell you. It's White, Brogdon, Smart, and I know Smart brings a lot of stuff. You're not going to bring him off, and he still has these moments where he's really the pace, distributing, doing a lot of good things. It's a good problem to have, but it should be as close to equal as possible. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're going to have to feel what the game is.
Well, they went with three guards right before halftime tonight.
Yeah,
I'm glad they keep playing around with that.
I think they should all be in and around 30 minutes. And then sometimes, you know, you depending on which way the game is going, you know, you might kind of ride a hot hand, so to speak. But there shouldn't be any more disparities where Smart's at 36, some guys at 28, and some guys at 22. That seems silly. Like, they're just three of your best ball players. They should be playing a lot.
Yeah, no question. And I think with all the signs are pointing in that direction, though, right, John? I mean, the 8-man rotation, especially when it's against a top-tier team, and just the way Mazzulla's been, you know, handling his rotations ever since post-All-Star break, it seems to be trending in that direction. But, I mean, how much of this is a byproduct of Rob missing a lot of games, though? And I'm not trying to discredit Derek White, but
that opened the door, Josue.
That opened the door, right? I think that built a lot more confidence in him as a starter.
That was the most important decision Joe made early this year, was
Definitely
going with White in place of Rob.
That was huge. That was key.
It is funny because it could have gone both ways. If you wanted in place of Rob, he could have gone Grant for the size or go with the smaller lineup with White. And, like, there's some people that kind of thought Grant was the guy. Imagine, you know, if Joe went with that and kind of stuck with it, would it have hurt White's development? You know, would he not be as far along as he is now?
I think it
was a big moment, Josue.
Yeah, no question. And especially when you think about, you know, what happened tonight, and all right, sure, it's against the San Antonio Spurs, but, you know, the moment or minutes after Marcus Smart's ejected, man, Derek White starts off that fourth quarter, 3 consecutive three-pointers. That was huge. That was a huge swing, and I think it's a testament to where he is, you know, in his confidence and his teammates' confidence in him, right? I mean, a couple of those were an assist from Jalen, you know, another one from Brogdon. I mean, they look for him when the double team comes because that's how much confidence they have in him, and it's showing in the confidence that he has in himself when he's able to pull up, you know, in certain moments and hit those big threes.
Well, one of the first things I noticed in camp, Josue, this year when I was covering it, is he was hitting everything, and you could tell a difference in his shot. Less lean, more straight into it, very confident in that approach. He started working with Ben Sullivan, who you now look at some of the improvements he's made across this roster since he got here. Grant becoming a 40% three-point shooter, working with him. White right up at 40. And even Smart, I think, has probably improved a little bit. Brogdon, different guys on this roster just shooting ridiculous totals. But really, White and Williams particularly have made big strides there. And all the little things, remember Jimmy would debate last year, he was shooting terrible, but he did all these little things.
Yeah.
Adding the shooting is what's really made him, I don't know, borderline all-star guy, I think, when you go back and stack up the year he's had. The numbers aren't amazing, but I was looking at this, Jimmy. Yeah, I go a Raptor, and there's a lot of stats like this that are like catch-alls for a guy's impact. And where do you think he ranks in wins above replacement?
You just tell me, because I'll be very far off on
it. Hey, what did you and John do this weekend? You guys are so out of it today.
I don't want to play this game.
13th. He is 13th in the league in wins above replacement. In terms of his plus minus, and the adjustments and whatever they do with it.
Just tell me,
18,
Bobby.
19.
I was gonna guess that. So.
I almost guessed 13th.
Okay, yeah. I think I was gonna say 15th.
He
Well,
is
Bobby, this might shock you. John Zannis has already awarded Derek White a member of one of the all-defense teams this year. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I think he's second, John, in blocks among
Can I
guards.
ask you guys another trivia question?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because we were being asked about music earlier. Taylor Swift has the record for most songs ever on the Billboard Top 100. How many of her songs made the list?
Ooh.
It's got to be over 20. She has a lot.
Top 100.
Not
it
all
might
at
be
once,
even more
not at the
than
same
that.
time. Just like
You mean like all her singles you're talking about?
Every song. How many songs has she had that have entered the Billboard Top 100?
dude, I mean, 20 is low. 20 is low, I think.
20's low.
It's very low.
Yeah, because
30 is
I don't
low.
know. Could be like
her entire albums would pop in there.
No,
Well,
She's
that's
had
the
a
thing.
Drake had that record, but it wasn't every song that was his, right? Because he was featured on a bunch. But Drake had a record similar,
yeah.
right?
Keep climbing. Nobody's even close.
48.
Well, just tell us then, John.
No.
Oh, I said 50. Okay, so 80. 150.
Oh, by the way,
he had.
188.
Holy shit, dude.
look at
Oh,
this.
wait,
She's
wait.
had entire albums out
It's
there
not
like
about
at
the
the
single
same
anymore.
time.
That's the thing, yeah,
it's about
that's the
it's
thing.
about the
We should've
streaming
got-
numbers now, right? That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
200 is the closest guess. Finally, somebody came close. 188.
I was never gonna say at least 100. Like,
I want to throw this out
I get
there,
it
too.
because they don't have to stay on the chart that long. They can pop on and then pop off. But like, yeah, I mean, if she comes out with an album, it's the most listened to album for like.
I'm not a
that
Swiftie
month.
per se, but I'm
Like,
going to
top.
Taylor Swift
You are?
concert. Yeah,
What'd you spend? $800?
I didn't.
How did you
I
get
was
tickets, dude?
One, because that's just how I roll. But two, it has nothing. It actually has nothing to do with me.
ever since Zannis had those seats at that the Nuggets game, I was like,
Nuggets
Zannis
game.
has connects.
Yeah.
He's got connects.
I would
got some
love to go to a
I
T
get
Swift
lucky.
show.
I get
love
lucky.
You give me
Taylor
some
Swift.
Drake tickets?
I get lucky.
I got
No.
Morgan Wallen tickets, which were pretty hard to get, and
But I got
Zach
a lot.
Bryan
I got a lot of
tickets.
girls at home. But yeah, we're going to see Swift. We're going to
Nice.
see Swift.
All
Yeah.
right.
That would be awesome. That would be
I
awesome.
think that's
Bring
going
your-
to be
bring your
awesome.
earbuds.
I know
Bring your
grown
earbuds,
women
John.
who cried when they got tickets.
Yeah, they're gonna be screaming in there.
It was a hot ticket. I feel bad, like being like doing it and like not being like crazy about
Yeah,
it.
you should actually
I'm-
give up your ticket
because
you
I'm
don't deserve
not.
to go.
But I think it'll be a fun experience. I think
Just
it'll be
throw
a fun
on the
experience.
playlist tonight, John, and let it sink in. Maybe
The
you'll get in
highlights,
the mood.
the highlights are
Yeah,
coming
it's a
out
good
on her.
Yeah, I mean,
shows.
I'm not a
They're pretty
Swiftie by any means. I do feel guilty taking the ticket, but I
Real
think
quick,
it'll be a
before
cool
we
scene.
get out of here, Bo Pett just dropped a article saying that the Raptors and Rockets could be interested in Ime Udoka.
Okay. He's gonna get
Okay,
a lot.
good
He's
night.
gonna get a lot of buzz. Whoa,
Good night.
whoa!
Think he'll be back
I'm
next
just
year?
kidding. Bobby and Josue, I will give you guys the option of continuing the show because you just arrived. But Jimmy and I are going to.
No, we're good.
You
I
want
just
to
wanna
wrap
drop
it?
that out there.
These guys have stuff.
I was gonna say, Bob, maybe tease some segments, but I don't. We gotta brainstorm.
I'll hang with
something.
them for a minute if they want to get something off their chest about tonight's
No, I'm
game
good.
or
You good,
anything.
Josue?
We're gonna
Yeah.
wrap, guys. We got 4 people on Twitch.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's crazy.
We quadrupled our
We
total. on Twitch.
quadrupled our Twitch output.
Stay
Thank
tuned
you guys.
for more segments.
Thank you guys who submitted super chats. Honestly, we do appreciate
Yeah,
your
seriously,
generosity.
thank you.
It's not something you have to do, but when you do it, it's great. Money is distributed, as I said, to the hosts of the show, not to management, not
We have
to
to mark our
ownership. So
episodes
again,
tonight.
we do appreciate that.
Zero
you know,
goes to Nick.
it all goes to the host, and that is great. So we do appreciate it. Thank you. We appreciate you hanging. It's a Sunday. I know a lot of people are kind of like, yeah, whatever, and it's the Spurs, but
Yeah.
pretty good crowd, and I think people are starting to kind of feel that playoff, smell
coming.
it coming around the corner.
It's coming. And people who are jumping on this season, we have massive playoff shows, and I mean massive. We were doing big numbers in the playoffs.
So just come
people
join
are
us. I know
jumping on.
people have been kind of tamped down a little bit because I think the frustration with them playing like inconsistent. But I think there's a corner
They're hitting
being
their stride
turned,
at the right time.
and they're hitting their stride, and they're kind of flipping switches at the right time. So that's all good. That's not the thing I want. I
I'm
want
getting
that.
this ready. This is getting ready to go on soon. Shining
One
it
last
up.
mention:
We
FanDuel
gotta sign it
exclusive
up for another
wagering
playoff
partner.
run, Jimmy.
Shining it up.
Last mentioned, FanDuel, exclusive wagering partner to CLNS Media Network. Go to FanDuel.com/Boston. Listen to me, because I would have given you easy money today when I said take the over on Jaylen Brown's total points. That was a layup. But go sign up, FanDuel.com/Boston. I don't know if this deal is going to be around that much longer. So free money is free money. $200 in bonus bets when you deposit 10 and bet 5. So go check it out.
You know what you can do, John? You can take that $200 and you can bet it on the Celtics to win the championship. It's $200 that you could win at a plus. I think it's plus 380 right now. So you could win almost $800 on a bet like that.
Go sign up, check it out. It's worth it. We'll be back. More games coming up. Next week they can hit the road for a couple here, and then we'll be back to close out the regular season. Couple weeks left, and we're off to the playoffs. We're gonna wrap it up.